We'll begin our day. I can't believe I missed this. I know it wasn't Thursday, Friday during the NCAA tournament, no Louie Bellina show. But FanDuel, hey, maybe Caleb knows this. Caleb Rapoli. When did FanDuel release the over-unders? When? For all the P4 teams? Because it wasn't today. Now you don't got to Google it. I mean, I don't want you to work like that, but FanDuel did the over-unders for all the P4s and more. And it wasn't this week. It wasn't Thursday, Friday, and I'm kind of over-under junkie. Because with people that have trillions and trillions of dollars at stake, Louie, you're exaggerating. You're right. Billions of dollars at stake. They kind of are good at it. A week and a half. How did I miss it, Caleb? Aren't you supposed to tell me these things? You only have 20 jobs here. Come on, man. Stay on top of it. Gah. So, yeah, the over-unders, they're good. Like I said, there's billions of dollars at stake in the gambling industry. Sure, they're not all spot on, but this is not a joke. So FanDuel did the over-unders for all the college football teams, and I don't know, almost passed out, I think. And if I talked about it, I totally blanked. I find myself refascinated. When I took a look at the SEC in general, my number one observation is the effect of 9 games. For the first time, maybe ever in the history of the 12-game schedule, there is not a single SEC team picked to win 10 or more. Or that's not picked. That's inaccurate. The over-under total of 10. None. No one. I mean, we had Alabama teams under Nick Saban that were 11 and a half, and people still had to bet the over. Georgia has been 10 and a half pretty consistently. But this is the first year of the SEC 9. Not one single SEC team has a 10 or higher over-under. A, SEC is not as elite as it was. B, it's the 9. Dave Bartu, College Football Matrix, and I talked years ago about the whole what will happen if. And it was the speculation of going to 9. A, it's analytically a horrible idea because it weakens the conference. You're adding losses. You don't add wins. There's no net gain by adding more conference games. The SEC had always dominated because it didn't do the dumb thing of adding more losses. Well, the SEC gave in to 9, thinking it was going to appease the Big Ten. And then the Big Ten just moved the goalpost, and this is what else we want. It was a mistake. Now, from a scheduling standpoint and a fan standpoint, I actually think we're going to win. From accomplishing your goal standpoint, 9 was a bad idea. But seeing every team in X amount of time, more quality games, I think it should succeed. But that half a game off of everybody, because that's what it equals. Everyone's half a game less in their projection. That's what 9 did. Georgia, Texas, FanDuel, over-under is 9.5, and they're the top 2. And again, not a single SEC team has a win total over-under in the double digits. If you go to the Big Ten, Oregon, Indiana, 10.5. You go to the ACC, Notre Dame's 11.5, Miami's 10.5. You go to the Big 12, the number one over-under win total projection, gambling line to bet is a better phrase. Texas Tech is 11.5. And even in dynasty era teams, it's really rough to find 11.5. I mean, basically, if you're betting the over, you're saying Texas Tech can't lose a game on a 12-team schedule at 11.5. But they got the one thing they were missing from last year. And when they got into the college football playoff, it was so horrifically obvious what they were missing was the quarterback. And they went and got the number one ranked portal quarterback, what Sorsby from Cincy. So, allegedly. Now, how do you replace one of the most elite defenses you had seen in so long? They still bought players. We'll see. I'd be tempted just to put like all of Caleb's money on the under. Caleb, how much you got on you? You think we could put this together? Texas Tech in the under? Because I know you hate Texas Tech. How about we at least put your breakfast money? You with me? Oh, you hesitated. Forget it. Move on. Anyway, so the over-unders SEC is one of the lowest. Not a single team. It's the only conference, by the way. P4. The only conference that does not have a double-digit over-under on the top end. So 9.5 is Georgia, Texas. The next tier is 3 teams at 8.5. It quickly drops to that mediocrity or not level. Bama, 8.5. Tuscaloosa must be rolling over in their grave. LSU is 8-5, but it's year one Kiffin, so it doesn't matter. But I know that's not what they hired him for. I guarantee you, when I looked at these over-under totals, LSU and the over on 8.5 will be the most bet. And it's not, I'm not sitting here and trying to pimp you, Kiffin. I'm not trying to sell you, Kiffin. But I'm just telling you, if you go national and even regional on the media hype projection train, LSU and Kiffin are a lock for the college football playoff. I didn't say Louie Bellina show, just it's one of the narratives being sold here in the spring is LSU and Kiffin. Now, in that tier of 8.5, and that's the second tier in the SEC now, everything got that half off, is A&M at 8.5. And I'm telling you, I would bet the over. First instinct, first thought, no hesitation. I got questions about the O-line. I have no idea where Marcel Reed's going to lead it. Yes, the front seven of the defense is a rebuild. You lost your linebacker leader. You lost your sack master general, who is one of the best defensive players in the entire country. First team All-American, unanimous, no conversation. There are some serious losses that I think people are underselling. I believe in Adam Cushing. I believe in Mike Elko. I believe in this staff's evaluation process in the portal. I don't think they ever have to rebuild. I just don't know how much of a reload. I don't think they go from 11 to 8. I don't think they go -3. So I see 8.5. Yeah, maybe they go 9-3, and that will not get in the college football playoff. So I think maybe they have to step back to 9 wins. And on this schedule, oh no, in a reload year, they go, and you realize if you think it's 9, if you think it just takes one bad official call to get 10. It takes one of your opponents to have a player out with a cold or a girlfriend break up with their quarterback and you're 10. If you think 9-3, and I mean, what I'm saying is kind of obvious if you stop for a second, yeah, you're a college football playoff team. And you realize 9 is -2 from a year ago. So I see 8.5. No hesitation. No pausing. Yeah, I take the over on 8.5 for A&M. Even though I think it's 9. So I'm only half a game of wiggle room. But I'm confidently going, no. I want the over. Caleb, do you have any leftover money after our Texas Tech bet so we can go A&M in the over? You didn't even let me finish the sentence and you're shaking no. You break my heart, man. You break my heart. Show me the lint in his pocket. So we got nothing for the over. Thank you, Caleb. So helpful today. Appreciate the time. Yeah, I'm taking the over hard on 8.5. Even if I think it's 9, which, again, at 9, you have one breakout player. You go to 10. You have one opponent have their bad day versus you. You have one SEC official have one espresso too many before the game. You can win 10. There's a lot of things. That's the one thing. Unless you're dynasty mode, and you tell me who is right now, your subjects, and it's rough, to the whim and whimsy. You're subject to the one bad call. When you're a great team, you're not subject to one bad call. You don't get beat by one bad official call. You're not subject to your best player having a bad day, so you have no chance because you have 3 best players and the other 2 carry you. So that's just the nature of this, by the way. But now the margins are so thin, the talent is so scattered out. You have your best player and he has the bad day, you can't win. Because you don't have, think back to the dynasties we've seen, and don't just think Bama, but Bama, Georgia. If Bama's best player had a bad day, the other 6 best players had it covered. They didn't have to lose. You understand the concept now. I have a question about these over-unders are the 12-game regular season, okay? Your over-under win totals don't count. Ooh, you might play 4 or 5 in the playoff. It is the regular season. It is the regular season. It is the regular season. So, again, I'm just going to say, SEC only league that doesn't get to have a double-digiter, and it's Georgia, Texas, 9.5. Every other conference, P4, has multiple teams that are double-digiters. Texas Tech, highest at 11.5. So if you go over, you're picking perfection. A&M and B, A&M at 8.5. I'm taking the over. I'm not hesitating, not flinching, not even a thought. Because I get, and I think people are underselling, how huge the losses are, to be fair. But -2, 11 minus 2 is 9. Yeah, that's still over to me. So I go that way with the storyline. Yeah, I can't believe I missed the over-under totals because that's not from today or even Thursday, Friday when we were out. But I always get fascinated by these. If you want to know the Mutt Fest, the worst of the worst of the worst, 3.5 in the P4, 3.5 of the worst of them all. Michigan State, Purdue, Boston College, Stanford are the absolute dregs at 3.5 win totals. Boston College, Stanford, and then Boston College, Stanford. Who are the other 2? Oh, Michigan State, Purdue. I'm sorry. In the SEC at 4.5, the lowest, Arkansas, Mississippi State. When we come back, when we return, Bucky Ball, the season that was, and maybe a couple of steps towards the offseason, but it's Logan Lee inside the Charles Schwab studio. This is the Louie Bellina Show, Tuesday on the Zone.
You can hear the madness of March on Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Logan Lee and I are already hanging out here inside the Charles Schwab studio, and it's so funny. We're talking tournament. We're talking brackets. He's showing me second place in the big Texags. And what's the name of your entry, your team, your picks in the Texags big bracket challenge?
Buzz's Basement.
That's so good. So you picked, your name is Marilyn.
No.
Well, that was Buzz's Basement.
No,
this
because
year.
the first interview he ever did on Texags when I was there, he said Logan's in my basement because he was referencing a picture that I was on in the team picture and blah blah blah, so on and so forth.
Ah, the good old days.
Oh, the good old days.
Logan Lee joins me inside the Charles Schwab studio. You know, I say it's an every Tuesday thing. It's really during the Aggie basketball season every Tuesday, and it has ended. Logan and I are going to hang out a little bit. You know, today will be a lot of final thoughts on what was, and it will be a couple more Tuesdays looking forward to the off season. And then Logan's like, I've had enough of this, and he just runs out of the studio one day, and we never see him again until the next season starts. It's a pretty simple concept. And Logan, NCAA tournament run. Brilliant against St. Mary's. And then two forces going in different directions. U of H played great, and A&M played poorly on top of U of H playing great. Let's go to St. Mary's. What a great game. What a great feeling as a fan. It was awesome to see. You could tell it was so worth it to get eliminated in the SEC tournament because they were rested. They played fast. They looked great. The best they'd looked in a long time.
I thought that was one of the best all-around basketball games that they had played all season. And they only scored 63 points. Even though they didn't, you didn't have a Zach Clements going 7 of 8 from the three-point line or Ruben making 10 threes. I thought it was the best all-around game that this team played the entire season. They were just moving. They were going playing as fast as they could on defense. I don't think they were playing as fast as they could on offense.
Oh, no, they did. They just couldn't hit shots. The story of the last 2 months is they can't hit a shot.
That is partially true. I thought St. Mary's did a good job to slow them down, but I thought A&M did a much better job of speeding the game up. They were making every single shot that St. Mary's took a difficult one, and they played 1,000% bigger than they were. More physical. They just, like you said, they had that energy. They had that pop. It was, like I was talking about, that adrenaline rush of being in the tournament and understanding what's at stake. But they did it for 40 minutes, not just the first 10 minutes of the game.
It was nice to not be down 14 with 10 left in the first half.
Very true.
Only time in the last 2 months, effectively.
Man, and
by the way, I know I'm exaggerating. It's not the only, but it is one of the few.
But they just got the way that they were playing from start to finish gave me I guess a sense of hope for what is to come. What is going to
future years?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I thought you were going to say for the U of H game.
No, I mean they ran into a monster in U of H and Houston. They have a legit chance to win it all this year. Their guard play, they're bigs, they're athletic, they play fast, but they play defense. And we talked about that. We talked about it going into the tournament. I was happy to see A&M get matched up against a team that is really more focused on, in St. Mary's, more focused on their offensive game plan and how methodical they are on offense. Not to say they're a bad defensive team, but they weren't focused on defense. Whereas Houston, for the last 12 years, they have been a defensive-minded team, and their defense has always been good enough to win them a national championship, but sometimes their offense is lacking. Well, on Saturday, their defense is good enough to be a national champion, but so was their offense. And that's what A&M ran into.
Houston played their A game.
Absolutely.
And A&M played their D game. It would have been more interesting if it was A versus B. Hell, A versus A is the dream, but it was A versus D. Because on top of it, and part of A&M's D game was Houston's A game.
Absolutely.
But you helped. You made it worse. Once A&M realized that they were never going to get to the rim, it was the worst idea. Then they went from taking threes to taking bad threes. On top, the A&M threw gas on their own fire.
And Houston, instead of A&M doing what they like to do, which is playing north and south, they were playing east and west. And Houston forced that into them and forced A&M into playing that style. And we all know that A&M, especially this season, is not very good when they play east and west. That's not their style. That's not what the team is built for. That's not their skill sets. And it showed in a 31-point loss. That's just
highlight of the night, Rashawn Agee going coast to coast on back-to-back. Then on the third time, they blocked him. They said, no, okay, we let you have your fun.
We've had enough of this.
Yeah, the first two times, we figured you needed a highlight. We like you. But the third time, no.
But look, all said and done, so proud of this team.
Yeah, oh.
And I love what Bucky said in that it would be a disservice to this team to say they overachieved. Because in their minds, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. That is what their goal was. That is what they started the season out for, and this is what they thought that they could get done. And they probably wanted a little more. But to say that they overachieved is a disservice to what they were trying to do. They just had a fantastic year. Let's put it that way. They had a marvelous year that showed everybody, that grew the fan base, that got people interested in Aggie basketball again, and they started what is Bucky's hope to get to the Final Four. And that's the foundation work. We were all wondering if that was going to happen when we saw the Oklahoma State game. But then you see the St. Mary's game and you're like, wow, this is what it could be.
I was so happy to get the St. Mary's win. didn't care. You remember last week, I was honest about it. Like, enough was accomplished. Just making it was the build a statue, and that was incredible to me. It really was. It's one of the most incredible coaching jobs I've ever seen.
Agreed.
So getting the win, St. Mary's, and not just getting the win, but dominating and putting on a show. When they lost to U of H, it didn't faze me. Be honest, U of H is a way better team. They're a Final Four type team, and I did not flinch, did not get angry, was never upset, and I feel nothing but happy.
I mean, I was pretty angry, and I was pretty upset watching that game because just the way that they were forced to play. But I was also looking at it and thinking, is this what the future holds for A&M? Is this what A&M can look like playing Houston? Is that Houston team what Bucky envisions his program as? Because Houston can play fast. I mean, they have the athletes to get up and down. They have tremendous guards. They have bigs that can run the floor, that can block shots, that dominate the glass on rebounding. They play great defense. Now, it's not as chaotic of defense that Bucky played this year. But my thought process is, and I haven't talked to Bucky about this or anybody on staff about this, but my thought process is, did they play that style because they didn't have the same caliber of players as Florida or Houston? And does that, when he does continue to grow this roster and he gets taller, longer, more physical guys, does his defense start morphing into what Houston is, into what Florida is? Or does it stay the same and they're still trapping everywhere and they're still helter-skelter? They just have, instead of 6-foot guys, they got 6'5" guys that are doing that. Like, I don't know that answer, but that's my thought process of, is this the vision of the program moving forward?
Oh, that's a fascinating question. I wonder what his answer would be. I think the greatest coach would tell you, well, I got to see the parts I have before I know the recipe.
Agreed.
I got to see the ingredients.
Agreed, but he's adding those ingredients. He gets to choose which ingredients he's adding now. He's not in a, I've got to build a team in 3 weeks mode. I have to build a team in a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then I get to mold them into what I want.
Is the number one there's priorities, right? Is the number one priority a true big? Because they have to have a true big.
I mean, I feel like they have to have everything. Did you see how many seniors they're losing?
Hold on, but you can't get everything. A&M doesn't have that kind of money.
You got to go get a guard. You got
to
get guards that can play at the speed that you want them to play. That can make shots. I agree, but you can't just have one guard in this system.
Okay, you need a lot, but what's the number one priority?
I still think it's a guard.
Really, I think they need a big, especially if you're going to have M'Baku. If he's actually coming back, and all the words we've heard,
he is.
You've got to have a big.
But I mean, look at the teams. If you study the bracket beforehand, and you really look at the rosters, and you look at how these teams play, and you have the ability to take, let's say, 3 weeks to look at all the teams and how they play and how they won games and what the roster looks like, I guarantee you could be 80% or higher on your bracket minimum if you just look at the guard play. Just go look at the guards. Do they score? Can they create on their own? Are they facilitators? Do they get people in the right spot? And if you answer yes to those questions, that team's winning. I don't care who they're playing, that team's winning, unless they're playing another team that has guards that are capable of doing the same thing. And then you go on the size and the shooting ability and all that. But if you just look at the guard play, that's going to tell you who's going to win games. Go get some guards. A lot of them. Now, go get a lot of them that are 6'4", that are 6'6". Go get those guys. We want to see those guys at Reed.
All right, we have to take a time. I have a question based on that, by the way. And so remind me when we come back.
Yeah.
In 3 minutes, I'm not going to remember you're in the studio, okay? It is the Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. Built on faith, family, and community. That is CC Electric. Logan Lee, well, almost every Tuesday, his time is running out. He goes back into hibernation or wherever he is, he disappears
Heck yeah.
to. This is the Louie Bellina Show Tuesday on the Zone.
Spend your late nights with Sports Center all night from ESPN Radio here on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show, Logan and Lou. I don't go by Lou. I go by Louie, don't I? Logan and Louie hanging out on a Tuesday. Our time is running out. Logan will hang out for a while as we talk off-season, all things Aggie basketball, but the season is over. You, don't forget, always can text, but you can also call, questions, comments, opinions. You can call me on the D4 Land Services hotline. It's the same number as the text number, 979-693-1150. D4 Land Services. If you ever need help with your land, fixed, excavated, cleared, and more, go to d4landservices.com. Check it out at d4landservices.com. Logan, the question I had for you is kind of basic, but I think it is the only question in modern athletics. Do you think that Bucky's going to have the money? Because Aggie basketball has always been under-supported. I think Bucky came in and off the bat, he wasn't under, but not over either. And I think the time of dabbling no longer exists in college athletics. That's one of the things NIL did. I don't think you can dabble. I think you're all in, or you probably never be in. Middle is a waste of money and time. Do you think that do you think Bucky has given proof of concept? Do you think he'll get the money not to field a competitive team, but to field the team that can contend? Will he get the money?
I think there's an opportunity for him to get the money. There's obviously Texas A&M has a number of former students who are capable of doing just that.
Like you have 10 businesses?
Yeah. All of them with loans and everything. So if anybody wants to give me some NIL money, I would happily accept that. But I think the proof of what he did this year will open more doors to not just dabble. And I think you're 100% correct in that you can't have just enough money to field a competitive team, because a competitive team, they'll compete, but they're not going to necessarily
You're not going to win anything.
It all.
You can go to the tournament, but you're not going to win the tournament. You can go to the SEC tournament. You're not going to you just the word competitive is for a reason. You're going to win games, but you're not going to win anything.
I think and that's where I think time is on Bucky's side. If he gets a few more dollars for next year and can field an even more competitive team, and he makes a Sweet 16 or further, then that will open doors for even more dollars. It's not I don't particularly think that A&M is a university that everybody is going to just be all in no matter what. You started it by saying, is there proof of concept? I think there's proof of growth and what he does. I think when other schools start calling on him, which will probably be yesterday, I think our donors will step up, because
that's usually too late.
I don't know. No, not necessarily.
You know why?
It's only too late when you have a bad feel,
and you've already said no.
But
or you're making him wait.
But no one has.
That's when the coach.
But no one has said no to him yet.
Well,
no one has said no.
Well, did you hear what I said?
What?
If other schools have come offering and you put your coach on that hold and delay thing, it's yes or no.
But we don't. There's been no hold and delay on A&M's part. This is not even 1 year yet. He hasn't even been here 12 months.
That's why I asked the question if they're in or not. And you're telling me, well,
I think so. I'm telling you, I think people will jump on board. You know, remember the anecdotal story that I said of my friend told me he was at Tractor Supply and the two families were talking about, man, I got to hurry up and get home and finish my chores so I can go to the game tonight. No one talked about A&M basketball at Tractor Supply before 2 months ago. I have come in contact and had conversations with numerous people that have said, hey, no disrespect to you and your teams. I wasn't following basketball then. I'm following basketball now. And that is happening on a daily basis. One, because of the way Texas A&M plays, because of the foundation that Bucky has laid. Two, because Bucky is out in the public and he is not afraid to talk to anybody. Listen to his press conference. He's very honest about basketball. He talks basketball. That's what he does. And then 3, go look at his staff. I don't think his staff has ever shied away from talking to anybody either. They are fantastic at what they do at their jobs, at recruiting. And oh, by the way, it helps when you can feel that it's genuine. They're good people. And when you have all of that coming together, and on top of that, you win a March Madness game and go to the second round, the round of 32, you're going to start, the momentum is going, and you are going to get people who want to be involved. You're going to get people that have the money to help the involvement, and it's going to continue to grow from here.
People with money want to be involved. And you mentioned on the basic level, you told me about the people at the feed store or whatever, right? People are going to want to go.
Absolutely.
People are going to want to go see what it's about.
I mean, I had numerous people call and say, hey, I can't get tickets. Is there any way you can get a ticket for tonight's game? And these are regular season games. These are, I had people calling for non-conference games. I had people calling for conference games. People wanted to get to read, and that's a big time thing.
Did you give them the tickets?
No, because I was going.
Yeah.
Sorry. You should have donated some more money to get season tickets. Whatever you need to do. But these are mine.
These are the people you haven't talked to in 3 years, and they're like, hey, Logan, remember me? Can you get me tickets to the game?
I did have to give away my Kentucky basketball tickets because Kewen had a basketball game at the same time that night. I know.
Couldn't they live stream it to you or record it and watch it later? It's Kentucky. You tell them, look, I coach there. I have to go.
Nah, I'd rather leave that out.
Good memories, good times. You got to go to the racetrack, best bourbon in the world.
Man, that was the time. Those racetracks were fantastic. Made it all worth it.
You're so full of it.
No, I'm not. I'm serious. It made it worth it.
You hated your time at Kentucky.
I loved it.
What are you talking? The grass?
Yeah.
It was very emerald.
It was awesome. I loved the racetracks.
You are so full of garbage.
I'm not. I am being 100% serious.
Logan?
What?
Logan?
What? Now, if I were in Waco at Baylor, I would hate my life.
You wouldn't have done it.
You're right. I wouldn't.
You never would have been at Waco.
I wouldn't have.
They'd offer you the head coaching job. You'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, no. I'd take their money. Lou.
You would sell your soul to Waco?
Lou, I would do... I was about to say something. I would...
Easy?
I would take the contract, and then they would have to buy me out because... I would
throw every game?
I would show up every day, and I would lose. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying the best I can. Pay me. And then I'd ask for a raise.
You wouldn't make one offer. You'd sign nobody.
No,
you just have walk-on tryouts and then
because then they could fire you for cause or something like that. I'd have to figure out that I'm within the.
I want an all 12th man basketball team. We're only taking walk-ons. I want the spirit of the student body to carry Bear basketball to glory. Why? Because God told me to.
Stop. We've gone too far.
What? Back to Bucky Ball.
Thank you. Let's get back on track.
Back to Bucky Ball in the offseason. Back to Bucky Ball in the offseason. So you think guard, where this all started 30 minutes ago. So you think guard is the top priority, and 10 of them.
Not 10 of them, but enough. It's hard. It's hard to even say who's staying and who's going and what's happening. Other than we know AG does not have another year of eligibility.
Oh, now easy.
What?
We live in a world you can go sue and get 10 more.
No. Thankfully, I hope Alabama has tried to petition enough that people are finally saying no to some things. But
so okay, I saw that list the other day. There's 6, 7 out of eligibility players. It's half of the 14 are gone.
Yeah.
Only Marcus Hill said he's gonna appeal. Is it Marcus Hill?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
Lou.
Well, it's 6 or 7. I know that much are out of eligibility for now, and I think it's Marcus Hill who is the only one that might come back.
I mean,
that half.
Look, I would love for Marcus Hill to come back. He would be experienced in Bucky's system. You know what you're getting out of him. I think he would drastically improve his 3-point shooting from – today until the first game of next season. But he was also a pretty dang good leader on this team. He gave it his all in on offense, on defense. You need a guy that can go downhill, that can get to the bucket, that can get people in foul trouble. If he can knock down a couple more shots from the outside and get a better feel, which if he stayed here and they worked on it, I would have no doubt that he would. I think that would be a fantastic compliment to whoever they bring in.
So, man, we have so much more to talk about. No, we do, because I have questions about this past season.
Yeah, but I'm going to disappear as soon as I leave here.
What do you mean?
I'm never coming back until next, October?
No. We said after a while, not yet, okay?
Oh, okay.
So we'll talk to you next Tuesday?
Sure.
Logan, thank you always, man.
Yeah,
I like correcting you. I like helping you. And
I appreciate that, too.
Tuesdays with me is almost like, helping a good friend.
It's like a counseling session to go along with a teaching session. I appreciate everything that you do for me, Lou.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, man.
Sharing is caring.
That's why I show up.
Be awesome, brother.
See ya.
Logan Lee, inside the Charles Schwab studio. Logan Lee, former player at A&M, former coach at A&M in Kentucky, and we talk Bucky Ball. We will maybe a couple of more Tuesdays before he disappears into the sunset. I'll be right back. Bye-bye to hour number 1 of the Louie Bellina Show, Tuesday on The Zone.
The Money Machine opens again April 20th. Another chance to win $5,000 from The Zone.